Alright, so boom, real talks, man's had the Logitech G Cloud handheld gaming console over the past year from the guys at Logitech, and I thought I would tell you guys what's really good with this thing 1 year later. So let's get into it. Yes, people, it's man like Jamo. We out here with the Logitech G Cloud handheld gaming console. Now, if for some reason this is the first time you're seeing Logitech G Cloud on my console, let me just give you a brief breakdown of what we got going on here. Now, the long story short is that the Logitech G Cloud is Logitech's answer to a Nintendo Switch and to the new Steam Deck, basically giving you console quality games that you can play on the go. However, it's not actually that simple, and I realized that there's a lot of things about the G Cloud that people don't necessarily know. Now, one of the main points someone should consider before getting a G Cloud in opposed to the Nintendo Switch is the fact that the Nintendo Switch, you can actually get game cartridges that you can put inside the console, whereas the G Cloud, purely digital downloads. So I know it may sound silly and you're obviously watching this video on the internet, but you're gonna need an internet connection, stable one, in order to use the G Cloud. Secondly is the operating system, and the Logitech G Cloud runs on Android. Now, if you got a Samsung phone, maybe you got a Sony phone, even a Google Pixel, you already know what Android looks and feels like because those phones all use Android already. However, if you're iPhone gang, it's likely you're not using any Google products and you'll have to make a brand new Google account in order to sign in to the Logitech G Cloud. Now, thirdly is the way in which you want to play games on the Logitech G Cloud, and the main way, as the name suggests, is playing games from a cloud-based gaming service. I'm talking Nvidia GeForce Now, maybe Xbox Game Pass, all them kind of things there. But what a lot of people don't know is that because it runs on Android, technically any games that you can play on your phone, you can also play directly on the Logitech G Cloud without an internet connection and using the built-in controls basically, which your phone doesn't have. Now, playing games off the cloud is pretty much easy. I go for Game Pass because it's the easiest thing to just sign up to, get your subscription, and literally play everything that's available. Whereas stuff like Nvidia GeForce Now is a bit weird because what it does is not give you access to games, but it actually gives you access to a computer which you can play games that you've already bought for your computer at home kind of thing. So it's a bit weird in the way that the Nvidia GeForce Now works. Now, regardless of whether it's GeForce Now or Xbox Game Pass, you need to be connected to the internet in order to play games. In fact, you need to be connected to the internet even to browse games using those game cloud services, and the quality of the game that you're playing, the lagginess, will depend on one, how close you are to your router, and two, how good your connection is in the first place. Now me, like probably most of you, my internet provider only gave me one router. So when I'm using my G Cloud to play game cloud services and I'm in the same room as that router, it's all good. We're all gravy. I'm good to go. However, when I want to take the G Cloud to another room that the router's not necessarily in, because obviously it is a handheld gaming console, I do want to take it anywhere. If my connection is not good enough, I'm going to get a terrible, laggy gaming experience. And basically, it's just not given. It just feels rubbish. Now, the reason I'm banging on about this internet thing is because I was talking to one of my sisters the other day and she was asking me if the Logitech G Cloud can play Steam games. And I said, technically it can, because if my PC is on at home and connected to the internet and I'm out and about and connected to the internet with my Logitech G Cloud, technically I can use the Logitech G Cloud to play any game that is on my PC at home. But it's not playing it on the G Cloud. The G Cloud's basically just acting like a screen and a controller for my PC at home when I'm out and about. But unlike the Steam Deck, which you can actually download Steam games to and play games on the Steam Deck when it's offline or when there's no internet connection or Wi-Fi whatsoever, you can't do that on the Logitech G Cloud. Well, not with Steam games anyway. Which brings me on to native gaming on the Logitech G Cloud. There's actually a lot of games on Android that work brilliant with the built-in controls on the Logitech G Cloud. And because I'm already an Android guy, I've got lots of those games on my Google Play account already. So it's literally just a situation of downloading them onto the G Cloud and giving them a play. And those, because they're downloaded onto the G Cloud itself, I can play them whether or not I've got a Wi-Fi connection on the G Cloud, which brings this console up a bit in terms of where I'm ranking it. Another factor you might want to consider is the fact that the G Cloud has the best battery life of any handheld gaming console man has ever used on the channel. And that battery life definitely plays a big part for me, because for me, myself, I can obviously download all of these games and play them on my Google Pixel 8 Pro. No issues whatsoever, except obviously I don't have a controller for my Google Pixel 8 Pro. However, playing those same games on my Logitech G Cloud enables me to free up battery that I would have normally used on my Google Pixel 8 Pro, leave that for being a phone, and using this as my main games console when I'm out and about. I think weirdly enough, one thing I haven't spoke about with the Logitech G Cloud is that the buttons, the analog sticks, the touchscreen, the screen itself, the actual build quality of the console itself, flawless, cuz flawless. Sometimes I just wish that they remade the Logitech G Cloud, but they put like a proper processor in there and they put Windows in there and they just made it another Windows handheld gaming PC, or they put a better Android processor in there so that it could play Android games at like a higher, better quality kind of thing. Because it's actually a good piece of kit. It's a good piece of hardware, even down to the haptic feedback and vibration that you can get from some games. Not all games, but some games work with the vibration motor kind of thing. Screen looks really good. Nice little 7-inch 1080p LCD IPS. No issues there whatsoever. Yeah, man, in terms of hardware, 10 out of 10. Couldn't fault it whatsoever. Now, golden question everyone's asking, is it worth it 1 year later? Should I get it? Who is it for? And for me personally, I love my handheld gaming consoles, but as a handheld gaming console itself, I want to play it wherever and whenever without any issues whatsoever, regardless of whether or not there's Wi-Fi. Like with my Steam Deck, I know I'm taking it on a plane and I'm not even considering, am I going to get Wi-Fi here? Am I going to get Wi-Fi here? All I know is that the games are already on my Steam Deck. Same thing with my situation with Nintendo Switch. And I can play those games wherever I want, regardless of any Wi-Fi. With the Logitech G Cloud, obviously I can do that if I'm playing Android games. But if I want to play AAA games like I do on a Nintendo Switch, like I do on the Steam Deck, then I'm going to have to be connected to Wi-Fi, connected to the internet. And that's not always 100% certified if I'm traveling about, especially if I'm traveling through random countries. So in that kind of sense, if I'm doing mad traveling and I'm not too sure about the Wi-Fi, then I don't think the G Cloud is for you specifically. However, if you're on the Android gaming thing, yeah, definitely the G Cloud could be a shout. Although, I guess someone could argue that it would be cheaper to buy a controller for your smartphone and just play games off of that. But then again, you're using your smartphone's battery and you're not going to have any smartphone left after the gaming is done. So yeah, man, it's one of them kind of ones where you have to balance up the positives and the negatives kind of thing. But in terms of hardware and everything else, definitely a solid console. Let me know what you guys think though in the comments section below.